Hi, this is Advocate Nyari Mashiamombe. Welcome to Identities with Nyari Mashiamombe, your empowerment podcast, where we talk about everything social, economic, and everyday issues that affect us. In this special series, I'm excited to bring you powerful conversations from the Better Future Summit 2025, where leaders and thinkers shared insights on the future we are building together. Let us get into it.
So we are gathered here again now for the third time. So this is the third episode of Better Future. And the theme has been explained briefly. But I just thought I would remind ourselves why it's so important to incline ourselves to thinking about the future. I think one of the biggest constraints that we always have in our private spaces, as households, as businesses, as private players, I've come to realize is in the failure to think about the future and think about it consciously and deliberately. And we hear statements like, tomorrow will sort itself, or we have been there. Those are indications that the way psychologically we are positioning ourselves to play in the arena is thinking about, we have been there. Maybe it's not possible. Until we get to that future date and we start thinking, I should have done this to make today better. That's the inspiration of Better Future. To think about the future, perhaps in a way that we haven't thought about it in the past. In our various disciplines, whether it's about savings, financial choices, the things that we would like to think about as building blocks into that future we would like to see and enjoy as a better future. But the theme for the year is also talking about shifting forward, which Patrick has already spoken to in terms of what is the essence of shifting forward. We are hopefully today going to be thinking about how we create the momentum and foster progress into that better future through the decisions and choices, insights, and knowledge that we will share. We have to think about the future in various decisions at household, individual, as business, so that that future we are thinking about, we start to create today. We want to add to hope and to desires practical measures that we can take to create that future. So we then develop the landing gears for the great ideas that we have got for our lives. Most of us here are in different careers or are running different businesses. We have been successful in our own right in the various spaces because of the decisions and commitments we made in the past. The school we went to, the choice of subjects, the career paths that we decided upon. And when people look at you today, they may not relate to those decisions, but you know exactly how those decisions have shaped where we are. And so we are challenging ourselves to look ahead and say, what new choices, what new decisions should we make today to make that future even brighter? Today is the first day of our future from now. We trust that the engagements today will assist us to grow, to sustain and protect our prosperity as individuals, as households, as industry, in the various parts. And we should play the relevant roles in those various spaces to support economic development of our country as responsible citizens. And thinking about the future as we make choices today, financial and non-financial thinking is an anchor to sustainability. Innovation is the next part, perhaps, that will occupy much more space. That's my fear because of how topical innovation and digital innovation is today. But the instance of our discussions and perhaps our discourses in that space is we do face myriads of challenges. And how do our products, our services, effectively address our needs as customers, as communities today? Because if we are not innovative or thinking innovatively about those solutions, we will fail to meet the needs and the demands satisfactorily. Globally, humanity is dealing with more complex challenges, and we in our microspaces are not spared. Patrick went into the example of how medicine has evolved, and there is a myriad of solutions that have also been developed to try and counter those challenges we face. Yet, if we embrace innovation as exemplified by various technologies that have come to the market, we turn each challenge into an opportunity and still sustain into the future. As private sector players working in support of government efforts, we must consider the question about whether we are delivering innovative solutions to the markets and communities we serve as a way to deliver value. We must also be thinking about how innovation should anchor the sustainability of our ventures into the future. How do we innovate savings, insurance, if I were to come home to our industry? How do we innovate the financing of major projects? How do we harness and pool efforts more effectively, more efficiently, and channel it for better economic allocation of resources? We must, in the same breath, be thinking about inclusion, which I think should be considered as a phenomenon beyond just access. True and fuller progress is registered if we also prioritize inclusion. Our products, our solutions, our services should seek to promote equitable access and participation. So maybe one test is, during the discussions we will be having, how effectively are we addressing the needs of society? And how far are we reaching with our solutions in the various spaces that we should touch in the communities?
Welcome to Identities with Nyari Mashayamombe, your empowerment podcast where we talk about social, economic, and everyday issues that affect us. At Identities Media, we tell human stories that respect the storyteller, honor the viewer, and help build a compassionate and informed society. Our work celebrates unsung heroes and community change makers rising in the spirit of Ubuntu. As a producer and host, Nyari Mashayamombe brings her experience as a development practitioner, marketer, lawyer, storyteller, and filmmaker to ensure that every conversation is grounded, human, and deeply intentional. If you are an individual donor, a foundation, an NGO, or an institution that believes in uplifting marginalized voices, we invite you to financially support this storytelling journey. Your contribution helps us document human stories that shape policy, inspire action, and strengthen communities. We also welcome corporates, NGOs, and institutions to partner with us by sponsoring episodes or seasons, commissioning stories of change, or collaborating on documentaries, docuseries, films, and other impactful storytelling projects. You may also advertise on our platform. To donate, visit www.identitiesmedia.com. To partner or sponsor, contact us through the email and number on the screen. Identities with Nyari Mashayamombe, your empowerment podcast.
There is already recognition in the financial services through established policies such as bank use promotion or inclusion policies that we have also seen being promoted by the Insurance and Pensions Commission to facilitate pooling of resources, to facilitate access to products to cover risks by all segments of our societies. The question today is, how can we achieve better outcomes along that same thrust? Policy efficacy and growth momentum are strengthened when as many economic activities and transactions as possible are included into the mainstream economy. So our discourse today must explore some of the practical steps we can take to collectively, across all pillars of the economy, start to journey forward to promote formality and growth. Underpinning that, lastly, should be how do we create confidence at the various levels to sustain that momentum. The foundation of confidence or sustainability, perhaps one could say, is in developing resilient factors and building blocks around those areas of major effort. Confidence inspires stronger resolve and commitment to pursuit for growth. Under conditions of stronger confidence, economic agents commit more resources, more patiently, which means we can access more patient capital, and simply commit also greater efforts sustained over longer periods to achieve greater things, greater scale of outcomes. Stronger confidence levels tend to yield more durable outcomes and higher utility outcomes for the customers and the communities that we serve. As private sector players, we play a big part in strengthening the confidence of the markets and customers that we serve. Often, when we talk about confidence, especially as private sector players, we find therein something to outsource to government or to policymakers. But confidence is built collectively, and we must find ourselves, occupying our space as private sector players, proper space to also encourage and boost confidence. Where support is required through relevant policy frameworks, such should be sought. Confidence is led and inspired, as we should share the burden to inspire and create the right environment for business and to prosper. Even as we will make recommendations for consideration by policymakers, let us also commit from our various places to inspiring confidence for our various customers and those that we serve. And this can be done through the products that we extend, the service that we offer, the way that we create convenience and deliver it in a form that delivers value for money to our customers. In economic terms, strengthening confidence means learning from the past as well. Learning from the past while building systems that are future fit and resilient. There lies, again, a key anchor to sustainability into the future. So the purpose of this summit is to gather the ideas, the insights, share knowledge as active participants rather than passive listeners, so that we can extract that voice, perhaps plus the next, and emerge with stronger solutions. Every session, whether a better future talk or a panel, focuses on what's needed to drive the outcomes we desire with the mindset of shared value and long-term sustainability. The structure and discussions will include practical examples from the financial services sector, for example, but we will definitely welcome learning from other sectors as we see members represented from across all sectors of our economy here. From regulators, from development organizations, and from just individuals that believe they can and should be empowered enough to contribute to this discourse. Insights and discussions leading to recommendations for the private sector players and policymakers will definitely be gathered, harnessed, formalized, and communicated into the relevant spaces. Thoughts to be drawn from the engagements will also be further buttressed by research and additional insights that we will obviously be working on after the event to ensure that the thoughts are properly processed and can be packaged into recommendations that are practical. So in final analysis, this engagement will be successful if after the event we emerge stronger in our sense of shared understanding, shared responsibility, and accountability about the choices we make today, the steps we take today to create a better future. Those choices, I think one of the indicators will be how well and how much confidence do we have about committing ourselves to long-term development initiatives, long-term savings, long-term ways of protecting our risks, protecting ourselves from risks and the like. Confidence is earned. Inclusion is designed, that's what we believe, through the combination of solutions and policy support, but innovation is led, so we will also find success in us coming out of this place and leading in terms of the ways that we will innovate solutions for our customers. In conclusion, let us shift forward beyond imagining the future and just thinking about the future to taking steps collaboratively to build that future together. Thank you very much.
Welcome to Identities with Nyari Mashayamombe, your empowerment podcast where we talk about social, economic, and everyday issues that affect us. At Identities Media, we tell human stories that respect the storyteller, honor the viewer, and help build a compassionate and informed society. Our work celebrates unsung heroes and community change makers rising in the spirit of Ubuntu. As a producer and host, Nyari Mashayamombe brings her experience as a development practitioner, marketer, lawyer, storyteller, and filmmaker to ensure that every conversation is grounded, human, and deeply intentional. If you are an individual donor, a foundation, an NGO, or an institution that believes in uplifting marginalized voices, we invite you to financially support this storytelling journey. Your contribution helps us document human stories that shape policy, inspire action, and strengthen communities. We also welcome corporates, NGOs, and institutions to partner with us by sponsoring episodes or seasons, commissioning stories of change, or collaborating on documentaries, docuseries, films, and other impactful storytelling projects. You may also advertise on our platform. To donate, visit www.identitiesmedia.com. To partner or sponsor, contact us through the email and number on the screen. Identities with Nyari Mashayamombe, your empowerment podcast.